From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at Noon, streaming now.
Gunfire at the height of the holiday shopping rush. Now at noon, what we know so far about the shooting that sent a store employee to the hospital. And trying to boost confidence in the vaccine, the Surgeon General returns to his home state to spread the word about the shots that could stop the spread. That's coming up today on News at Noon. Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Shin on this Christmas Eve, and we have Kyle Mounts with your forecast. Kyle, please tell me, we may have a little bit warmer temperature coming up.
Oh, we've got one today for sure. We're going to need to enjoy it, Megan, because we've got some big changes in the temperature department coming our way as we head into the Christmas holiday. It's 50 degrees already in Indianapolis. It's 52 for you in the Bloomington area. You can see many locations already in the 50s, 53 in Muncie. It is coming in on some gusty south to southwest winds, though. You can see those gusts are already cranking up between about 30 and 40 miles per hour. And we do have a wind advisory that stretches from Sullivan through Greencastle into Crawfordsville and around the Logansport area. That's going to run until 11 o'clock tonight, and that's where we could see some of those gusts a little closer to 50 miles per hour. But there you can see 30 to 40 mile per hour gusts through much of the day and into this evening. The afternoon forecast, those temperatures are going to stay mild in the 50s, but we will introduce the chance for a few rain showers. You can see on the satellite and radar here as we go through time, we are going to be seeing a few more showers. As we look back to the north and west, there's a sign of those changes. We've got some areas of snow. We'll talk about whether that will impact our forecast going into the holiday here in just a little bit. Megan.
Thanks, Kyle. Well, new this midday, a man is dead following gunfire at a home in Kokomo. Police say the shooting happened early today at a home on East Broadway Street near North Lock Street. Officers say 42-year-old Sharman Pearson II later died from gunshot wounds at a hospital. So far, that's all police have said about the shooting. They say anyone with information can leave an anonymous tip with Crime Stoppers of Central Indiana. The number is 317-262-TIPS. And here in Indianapolis, police are still looking for a suspect after an employee of a Northeast Side Dollar Tree was shot inside the store. Officers say it happened during a possible robbery at the store last night. Police were called to the Dollar Tree on Shadeland Avenue between 75th Street and 71st Streets. The worker who was shot is initially in bad condition, but is now considered stable. And several people were working inside the time of the robbery. Detectives are hoping surveillance video will help as they search for the suspect. Metro Police also continue to investigate the city's latest homicide. It happened just before 10 o'clock last night on the east side of Indianapolis. Police say a man in his 20s was found with a gunshot wound outside a home on North Oakland Avenue near 10th and Rural Street. Investigators believe an argument led to that gunfire. Right now, police say they're following up on leads. A family of 3 has a little extra to be grateful for today. They escaped a fire in their own home thanks to a warning from their smoke detector. Overnight, firefighters from Brownsburg and Zionsville responded to a house on County Road near I-65 and West 86th Street. Investigators are still looking to see what sparked the flames, but firefighters say this story provides a chance to remind the community about fire safety. That includes the dangers of overloading an extension cord.
A lot of people, they'll use a lot of extension cords, which you don't know until they get hot. But you can feel them and actually they warm up. But you can get ahead of the curve, and if you put like electrical power strips that have breaker switches in, that breaker switch will trip before you actually have an electrical problem.
Good advice as we enter Christmas Eve. Once again, it's worth checking your smoke detector too. It literally is a lifesaver. And after 2 days below the 4,000 mark, new COVID-19 cases are now back above that level in the state. Here are the newest numbers from the state health department. More than 4,700 new cases were reported today. 62 additional deaths were also reported. That pushes Indiana past 7,300 deaths since the beginning of the pandemic. And the number of COVID patients in Indiana hospitals is also going back up. More than 3,100 people with the virus are now being treated. It's the third consecutive day that number has risen. And new this midday, a larger supply of COVID vaccines is on its way to hospitals and doctors' offices across the country. The federal government has agreed to buy 100 million additional doses of the vaccine from Pfizer. Pfizer will deliver at least 70 million doses by the end of June of next year, with the remaining doses coming no later than July 31st. This comes after the Trump administration turned down a previous offer for additional vaccines from Pfizer. And the nation's top doctor is back in his home state again. He's trying to send a message that the coronavirus vaccine is safe. And here is a live look at Eskenazi Hospital, where U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams is speaking right now. The former Indiana State Health Commissioner has been working to encourage as many people as possible to get the COVID vaccine once it becomes available. Dr. Adams says he is especially concerned about the fears of the vaccine held by some in the Black community. You can watch Dr. Adams' speech right now on our website, WRTV.com. You can also see it on your streaming device, such as Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and Apple TV. During this pandemic, many businesses have found ways to survive. Tomorrow, we go back and visit our favorite local businesses from 2020 in our special Inside the COVID Crisis. We're open. We'll see their journey and their outlook for 2021. Join us at 6 p.m. tomorrow night, Christmas Eve, right here on WRTV. And there's a major hurdle to finalizing the COVID relief deal. Next, how the president is threatening to upend the agreement struck by his own negotiators. Kyle.
Almost a spring-like feel out there today as we're going to enjoy temperatures well into the 50s. But you can see there are changes waiting back to the west. We're going to get thrown into winter cold here when temperatures could dip into the single digits. You're watching WRTV News at Noon.
Christmas morning on ABC.
Welcome back. After marathon negotiations led to a deal, President Trump is now threatening to blow up the COVID relief bill. He's demanding more money for stimulus checks to Americans, and House Democrats say they are ready to go along. ABC's Andrew Dembert has the latest from Washington, D.C.
In a stunning move, President Donald Trump recording a video in the White House saying he is rejecting that COVID relief package that would provide aid for millions of struggling Americans.
Send me a suitable bill, or else the next administration will have to deliver a COVID relief package.
Lawmakers bickered for months before finally reaching this deal, with Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin acting as Donald Trump's representative. President Trump wasn't directly involved in the talks, though signaled he would sign the bill into law once Democrats and Republicans reached a compromise. But on Tuesday, Trump blasted Congress, labeling the bipartisan bill a disgrace, demanding Congress increase the amount of those stimulus checks from $600 to $2,000. The president's threat comes after the administration already promised those checks would be in the mail as early as next week.
Let me emphasize that people are going to see this money at the beginning of next week.
Now, desperate Americans have to wait and see what happens next while their expenses are piling up. With unemployment benefits set to run out the day after Christmas and eviction protections a few days later, the Labor Department says 803,000 new unemployment claims were filed last week. More than 20 million Americans currently receiving some form of federal aid, highlighting the economic pain and need for critical relief.
It would be really nice to get a little support so that I don't become homeless.
House Democrats, meanwhile, say they'll take up Trump on his offer of $2,000 stimulus checks in a special session on Christmas Eve. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi tweeting overnight that they are ready to bring this to the floor this week. Let's do it. But this COVID relief package was only part of a larger $2.3 trillion omnibus bill that also includes money to fund the federal government. If President Trump doesn't sign the bill, the U.S. government could shut down on December 28th. One of the president's closest allies, Senator Lindsey Graham, calling the bill imperfect, but saying the sooner the bill becomes law, the better. So can this bill, which already passed both chambers of Congress, actually be amended as the president suggested? The short answer is probably not. Any changes would require unanimous consent in both chambers, which is highly unlikely, so it would be back to the drawing board. Andrew Dembert, ABC News in Washington.
Thanks, Andrew. And he contracted COVID, and now he can't get rid of some of its symptoms. Next, his warning to the community, where he knows a lot of people are still skeptical of the virus.
Hi, I am Sergeant Christian Elliott, and I am a part of the United States Army Marksmanship Unit at Fort Benning, Georgia. I am from Greenwood, Indiana, and I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
$50-54.
Time now 12:15. He is using his experience with COVID to urge people to take the virus seriously. The police chief in Greenfield is still struggling with health issues after contracting the virus. He tells our Cornelius Hawker people have a responsibility to keep themselves and each other safe.
We want to make sure that everyone is safe.
We're used to seeing Greenfield Police Chief Jeff Rash like this, informing his community about how his officers are keeping them safe. So it's not surprising the chief is talking about his COVID-19 diagnosis, hoping to keep others safe from what he is now experiencing.
I really hope that people that are going through this, or people who haven't gone through this, realize that there may be some long-term effects.
Chief Rash got his positive COVID test back on November 2nd, and he tells me the first week was fine, no symptoms. The second week, some symptoms, but not bad. So what happened next surprised him.
But then it was in the third, fourth, fifth week that, after I was back to work, where I started having, some difficulties with, a heart rate and some heart rhythms and different things. Having a realistic conversation with people sometimes becomes difficult to try to stay focused. And so the COVID brain fog that I've heard people talk about is very real.
The chief is talking about everything he's going through because he knows he's not the only one in his town dealing with this.
We have meetings regularly with our healthcare professionals here locally in Greenfield. And, they are seeing almost daily something new or another issue that people are having with regards to COVID.
Greenfield, like a lot of smaller towns, is close-knit. Everyone is connected one way or another, which makes the COVID-19 deaths in their city and county especially personal.
Sadly, I've lost track of the number of people that I know here locally that have either lost a loved one or I've known firsthand that have died from this.
So his message is simple. Do what you can to help keep you, your family, and your community safe.
I think that people are doing a much better job, and hopefully that just sharing my story will hopefully make an impact where it'll help others to do the same.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
Important story, Cornelius. Thank you. And Chief Rash is wearing a heart monitor until the end of the month to keep track of his lingering COVID-19 health issues. And you may hear of this happening somewhere each holiday season. And this year, it happened here in Indiana. Someone recently dropped a gold coin into a Salvation Army kettle in Richmond. The group says it was found nestled among some crumpled dollar bills and spare change. This is a pretty rare coin. It is a gold South African Gregarian minted in 1971. It has a value of, get this, more than $1,700. And thanks to a volunteer's legacy gift that matches large donations to the Salvation Army, the final amount donated will be doubled. Wow. What a gift. And Kyle, I know there are lots of people out there collecting those donations. So how are they supposed to dress for this weather?
Well, today, not going to have to layer up too much, but they'll get blown around in that wind just a little bit. Tomorrow, though, it's going to be a whole lot colder, and we're going to talk about those big changes coming our way. Right now, though, feels pretty good outside. We got 50 degrees, but there's that south wind. The steady wind is over 20 miles per hour, so it's going to be a gusty afternoon for us. Our temperature right now, 53 in the Bloomington area, as well as Muncie, 56 already in Lafayette, and 50 again downtown. This afternoon, we'll see those temperatures continuing to climb here into the middle 50s, about 55 in Indy and 54 in Columbus, with mostly cloudy skies and the chance for a few showers, and those shower chances will increase as we go a little deeper into the evening. Still, temperatures, though, in the lower 50s for us, and at 9 o'clock we'll have that rain around, and again, wind gusts as we get into tonight could be around 40 to 45 miles per hour. Here's a look at TrueCast, and as we get into this evening. Again, a couple of isolated showers, but more widespread rain as we approach 9 o'clock tonight. Then the colder air starts to race in behind this system and may catch up with it long enough to provide some bursts of snow as we get a little closer to midnight tonight. It's going to be quick moving, so I don't think we're going to see much accumulation out of this, especially because the ground is going to be relatively warm. But you get a burst of snow, maybe a light dusting here or there. But you can see by tomorrow morning that thing is already into Ohio, and we will be left with the cold aftermath. Temperatures on Thursday were down into the 20s in the morning, so we'll see a pretty rapid temperature drop here during the overnight, and then we are not going to recover there. Temperatures will stay in the 20s, may see a few flurries, isolated snow shower on Thursday, and these are the wind chills that we're going to have to deal with. It's going to feel like the teens. So you take today's high temperature in the middle 50s, and we've got wind chills tomorrow in the teens. It's going to feel about 40 degrees colder as we go throughout your Thursday. And we'll be in the single digits here by Christmas morning. 8 degrees in Peru, 9 in Muncie, and temperatures will struggle to reach around 20 for an afternoon high there on Christmas Day as we start off with wind chills below 0. 7-day planning forecast. The good news is that cold blast of air does not last very long. We'll see those numbers recovering into the 30s and even 40s by Sunday. Chance for some showers there late in the day. And Megan, that brings in some more chilly air into early next week.
Ooh, all right, bundle up. Thank you, Kyle. Well, we know this happens. You have an email that looks legitimate and says your account has been compromised, but Tim Maniscalco with the Better Business Bureau says you need to look again. It's probably just someone trying to steal your money.
This is for anyone who has a PayPal, Netflix, or Amazon account. There's a scam going on out there, and there's both an email version of this and a phone version of this where you're going to get contacted and people are going to say there's something wrong with your account, it's been compromised, you need to take immediate action. In the email version, they're going to ask you things like your social security number, things like your bank account information that you really don't want to give anybody, and they don't need any of your social security number, and if you have an account with them, they've already got your credit card information, so they don't need any of that information. But they're going to ask you to verify that and give you that information. In the phone version, they're going to say things like, gee, you need to downware this malware, or this go to this site that downloads malware to you. So just be very, very careful. If you've got these, this is something that we've seen in the last couple of weeks. A lot of people are getting these emails and these phone calls, so don't give them any information. And if indeed you think your account is compromised, you can always go hang up the phone or get out of that email, go actually back into the email and the website of the company and find out if anything is wrong, or call their customer service, but don't respond to any of these emails and don't do anything that they want you to do on the phone. Once again, this scam is really prevalent out there, so just be careful.
Tim, thank you. And there's much more on this and other scams at the Better Business Bureau's website, bbb.org. More news and one more check of your forecast with Kyle are next. You're watching the news at noon on WRTV.
Got everything else you need.
Welcome back. Over the Christmas holiday, we're certainly going to have the temperatures that are perfect for some hot cocoa. But while we may be thinking about something warm to drink, one of the big cola companies is already looking ahead to warmer days, but with a bit of a wintry flavor. Check this out. Pepsi says it will be launching this next year. Oh, there it is. It's the Pepsi Coca Cola. That's right. The company says it's exactly what it is, a mixture of soda with cocoa with a hint of marshmallow flavor. Pepsi put this idea on Twitter and it got enough retweets where the company says it will make a batch just in time for spring of 2021. Ooh-wee.
Interesting timing there, going into the warmer months.
Oh, yeah. I could go for a cup of hot cocoa, but I don't know. I'm not a huge soda drinker, so we'll see about this, Kyle.
Well, as we go through the next 24 hours, really a big change, and that'll probably have you reaching for something warm to drink. We're in the 20s by tomorrow morning.
All right. Thank you so much, Kyle. Thanks for joining in on WRTV at noon. We'll see you back here on the news at 5. Have a good afternoon.